Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be changing the differential fluid on the Corvette. Abel usually does it, but I'm going to do most of it just because to show you how easy it is. So here on this table we have everything you're going to need pretty much. First you're going to need the differential fluid, of course, and this is what we have. You have to make sure it has the limited slip friction modifier in it. And then you're going to need 3 bottles at least. Then you have to have, well, you don't have to have this little pin, but it is definitely recommended. It goes in the drain plug, so we're going to get a new one and switch that out. We need a 10 millimeter hex socket. And then this extension right here, got our ratchet and just some like little prying tools to get some stuff off, and then a pump to put the fluid back into the differential when we're done, and a drain pan to drain everything, and finally the ramps that we're going to put the car on. So guess we'll get going. Alright, first step is lifting the car up. We have to lift it up, make it level, put it on these ramps to get the fluid out. Alright, so I'm under the back of the car. Right here is the drain plug that we have to remove to drain the oil. The little clip that we're going to change is right there, if you can see it. And then up here is where we're going to fill it back up. That is kind of a tight spot, but I have little hands, so you should be able to get that.
I can get it to show here. More, show it again.
Start over.
No, the top. Just
Okay.
pointing with your finger. Okay.
So we got the 10 millimeter hex, and we're gonna go up here to the fill spots, and okay, so we're just gonna loosen this a little bit. You don't have to loosen it completely, just break it loose. Alright, so now we're gonna remove the little retainer clip right here. There's a little hole back here to put the pry tool into.
Careful with your fingers. Okay. You just get it loose and then just pull it with that thing.
There you go. Alright, so I got my drain pan right here. We're going to pull this out and it's going to start leaking, so watch out for a splash. So we're just letting it drain now. We did remove the fill plug, that piece right there that we loosened earlier. So it drains faster, the air gets in and helps it to drain faster. When you take off the fill plug right here, you have to make sure and clean it because there's usually a lot of debris on there. So just remember to do that as well. Alright, the oil's pretty clear right now because it was changed not very long ago. We put red line in it, but we're not super happy with that, so we're just switching back to the factory fluid. Okay, now that it's just kind of barely dripping, we're gonna push this back in here. And then we gotta clean off where it's dripped and leaked and everything. Now we're just going to put the new pin back on. Alright, now we're going to fill it up. Got all 3 bottles and we've got our pump. Alright, so this is going up here in the fill hole. And then this one is going into a bottle. So you don't want to shove the hose all the way back in there, just enough for it to be in there and not leaking on you until it gets full. You want to fill it up until it starts leaking a little bit. So we filled it up. It takes right about 2.5 bottles and then it'll start dripping out. You gotta let it drip until the drip is really slow, kind of like this, and then you can put the plug back in. Okay, so after we got it filled up, we have to put the car on jack stands. We have to remove these ramps because we're gonna get in the car and we have to drive it while it's on jack stands. Can't drive it over 10 miles per hour, but you do it for about a minute. Alright, so you have to make sure and turn traction control and active handling off before you do this. You press that button right there for about 7 seconds. Alright, now that we've got everything changed, we drove it on the jacks, we drove over to the park and we need to do some figure eights, about 5 or 6. That's just so we can get everything lubricated and make sure that we got enough fluid in there. Once we finish that, we'll go back, we'll put it back on the ramps and just make sure that it won't take any more. So Abel's about to do the figure eights here. Okay, so we got home from doing the figure eights. We've let it cool off. So we have to go back to the fill plug and loosen it and make sure we don't need any more fluid. So we got it off and it's not dripping. Well, it's barely dripping. So we're gonna add a little more, same process as before till it's coming out, and then we'll let it slow to a steady slow drip and re-plug it up. All right, we're all done. It wasn't too hard, pretty easy even for me, so don't be afraid to try it at home. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Always like and subscribe, please, and we'll see you in the next video.